What is virtual production? Virtual production is using the latest technology, game engines specifically, to create a short film, TV show, commercials, animated series. Basically, it is leveraging the real-time processing of game engines to create a dynamic environment that can be updated in real time and adjusted to whatever the needs of the production is. Now, why did virtual production happen? It was already beginning to happen pre-pandemic, but because of the pandemic, there needed to be a shift in how production was completed. It might have been a situation where they couldn't have as many actors or crew on the set. So they needed to reduce the size of what's being done. So no longer were they creating huge sets for being able to do filming. Instead, they moved to a virtual set where they could update it in real time. Probably the best known set for this would be the creation of the show Mandalorian. Typically in film or TV production or commercials or any type of media production, we have three stages that are used. We have pre-production, which is where we create the script, we do pre-visualization, perhaps location scouting, create the storyboards, take care of the casting, anything that needs to be done in that type of an environment. We go ahead and get everything ready to go before the production does. This is so that when we get to the production part, which is the most expensive part of creating any film or TV or commercial project, there's little wasted time. Everything can be shot as quickly as possible and everything's ready to go. We're not still trying to figure out what's the character going to say or what's it going to look like, where are we going to shoot this. We have everything ready to go. The cameras are there, the equipment is there, and we're ready to start shooting. And then the third stage of traditional film or TV production is post-production, which is where the editing's taken care of, all the ums or mistakes are edited out. They take care of color correction, add in or re-record the sound, add music, visual effects, titles, etc. Everything is handled in that. So a traditional film project pre-production might look something like this, where you write the script and somebody likes the script, so they say, okay, let's go ahead and green light the pre-production. Once pre-production is greenlit, then you go ahead and start assembling your crew. You break down the script on where the different scenes are going to be shot, what's it going to look like. We take care of any screen revisions. We do camera testing, figure out what's the budget for this production, take care of all the legal issues, hire the actors that are going to be a part of this so that they are all ready to go in an environment like that. When we shift to virtual production in how this is done, because we're using game engines to do this. Now, the example I'm using is now the visual that I'm using for this is from Unreal. So, of course, there's a lot of mention of Unreal Engine in this discussion, but you could also use other game engines as well, though Unreal is, at this time, the industry leader for virtual production. So you have your written idea, you turn this over after it's greenlit, you turn this over to the art department, the pre-visualization department, virtual art department. So in other words, they're starting to build what the scene looks like inside of the game engine. That might mean that they're building an alien landscape or inside of a home or a business, because virtual production is being used for commercials as well as for being able to shoot alien landscapes or homes or whatever the case might be. The exciting thing about virtual production is that we're able to plan what the camera view is going to be virtually. The scene is planned virtually before we're ever starting to shoot. Everything can be worked out immediately in that pre-production stage before we go to the production. So virtual production shift, as I said, has been happening for a number of years. We saw it happening with use of green screen. Probably one of the best images that I've seen is the shooting of the Avengers Endgame, where they used a massive green environment for recording and shooting these things. But with this pandemic, there was a dramatic, quick shift to virtual production, which is using a game engine to generate these background scenes for these environments. These are semicircular environments, could even be a flat wall for commercial or smaller production, but these are updated in real time, and we're able to change the scene with just a tap of a button and load in a new environment for the acting to be done. Traditionally, if you were using green screen type environments or a stage even, the stage had to be reset with every single shooting of or every take in your production. With the green screen, the environment is reset immediately. If there's a few objects in your foreground, you may have to update those for a new take, but the environment doesn't have to be shifted as quickly. So that makes a huge difference in the speed of the production. There's three types of virtual production: CGI, or traditional animation, where we're using the game engine environment for doing the shooting. This is opposed to using other traditional, maybe 2D tool sets or 3D tool sets like Blender or Maya or one of these tools. But with this, we're actually doing all the shooting in the inside the game engine, using the game engine cameras to do the recording, using the tool sets that are available to us for taking care of the animations and getting everything into the environment. This is different than traditional 2D animation, so we can talk about that at a different point, but it is an important distinction to make that 3D animation inside of a game engine is becoming very popular, and because of the ability to reuse our models and our characters quickly and easily and change those scenes because they're already built. They don't have to be redrawn, and so that can speed up the production dramatically. We also have mixed reality. Now, mixed reality is more of an in-between area between traditional CGI and an LED volume, which would be the set of The Mandalorian. A mixed reality situation is where we are using a green screen in the background with live actors, and the live actors are interacting with that environment. Now, using the game engine technology, we can pull that, we can show live to the actors exactly what they're interacting with, making it easier for them to interact with that environment. They're not trying to imagine what's happening on the scene. Instead, they can see exactly what they're interacting with, which is a very exciting development for the mixed reality. And then, of course, we got LED volume, which is the most exciting thing that we see happening inside this industry. It's also a little bit more expensive to get started. A basic LED volume, say, set your back around somewhere around $100,000 to a full semicircular type thing, which would be multi-million. So it's an exciting development. There is some expense involved, but when you're talking about hundreds of millions or billions of dollars being generated from entertainment industry, that's a small price, especially since the LED volume gets to be used and reused all the time. So the pipeline that we're going to focus on over the course is we're going to go over creating a script and a storyboard, and then we're going to shift into character animation utilizing clothing, animation. We're also going to talk about the scene creation that goes into how all of this works and what's going to be involved with that. We'll add in some visual effects, some music and audio to be able to record our scene. We're going to talk about the technical aspects, such as you've got to be making backups of your stuff. The claim that I've lost everything because my hard drive crashed is just going to it's not acceptable inside the industry. You've got to be making backups as you're going along. I should warn you that technologically, scenes for some of the things that we're going to be doing could be over 200 megabytes or even up to a gigabyte in size. So hard drive space might become a premium for the production that you're doing. Make sure you've got a good backup hard drive that's fairly large so that you can save multiple instances of this and not lose what you're working on as you're working on it. And then we're also going to discuss the editing and final rendering of our projects so that we can make sure that we're producing high quality productions. So the software that we're going to be using as we go through this class includes character creation. I'm going to focus on 3 different tool sets for character creation. We're going to look at Ready Player Me, which is a free website that you can use to generate avatars that can be used inside of games or virtual productions. We're going to look at MetaHuman, which is from Epic and is specifically for use with the Unreal Game Engine. We're also going to be covering Real Illusion Character Creator, which is becoming the industry standard for creating stylized as well as realistic human characters for virtual production. Then we're going to shift into creating the animations. The animations include using Real Illusion iClone or Blender, or inside of Unreal Engine, we can do real-time changes to the animation. That includes scripting, which we won't get into too deeply in this class, but it is available to us. We're also going to do scene creation, again, inside the Unreal Engine. We're going to use Quixel Bridge for creating our environments quickly. As an Unreal user, you have free access to Quixel Bridge to use those resources inside your environment. And then we will be recording our scene using the Unreal Engine and do our final editing with Adobe Premiere Pro. And that's also the final editing, post-processing, all color correction, all of that's going to be done with the Adobe Creative Suite. Okay, so I hope you're as excited about this class as I am. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a number of projects that I have planned for creating virtual production things. I've already got scripts written, and I'm in the process of actually doing virtual production. So I hope you'll join me in this adventure.